Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am still Authenticity. I am still playing the Ticked Off Chicken, and I'm still joined by my fantastic friend.
Oatmeal, hello. And I am still playing the Professor.
If you haven't listened to part 1 of The Witching Hour, do, because this isn't going to make sense.
Yeah. No, it's not. Well, the Professor and TOC were, on top of Jubilee's roof, having some serious conversation, because, lots of things are going crazy in their lives. Yeddo trip, dragon problems, etc.
One thing to fix in post. It is Juniper's.
What did I say?
Jubilees.
Did I? Oh God, I've been spending too much time in the AI server. Juniper's house, yes.
Yeah. A lot of shit's gone down. They have lots of different reasons to be, depressed and anxious. But talking it through and being depressed and anxious together has made it better.
Yes.
To the point where, well, they accidentally fused.
Yep.
And now there's, a brand new, person on this roof.
Yes.
In a state of shock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of where we're starting out.
Yep.
So perhaps a nice way to sort of kick things off would be to how are they both feeling, and what are they feeling from each other?
Well, there's, for the Professor's part, there's a vague sense of like, oh God damn it, not again. Like, God, I thought I would have longer this time or something. Like, what did I do? Sort of a here we go again, like, new body, new rules, new phone, who dis?
Oh no.
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna drop that image. They are a very, I mean, I described them at length last time, but they are a vaguely Aarakocra-ish toon monstrosity with too many limbs.
Yep.
And very foofy feathers. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's where Professor's at. Sort of. This
great. I love the fucking, like, irritated resignation with death. Just like, bitch you again. TOC is, well, I think that one of the first things the Professor registers is, like, this very alien, very sort of pervasive sense of anxiety. Like, it's not things could go wrong, it's things have gone wrong, will go wrong, and are probably in the process of going wrong at this very second. It doesn't seem particularly important. More like a fact of life. There's also an emotion of, oh God, here we go. But it's probably significantly less morbid. It's more like, Huh, okay. Well, it's like, I wouldn't have called this one, but it makes sense in retrospect.
Mm-hmm.
Also interesting is TOC has aphantasia. They don't have like a little voice in their head. They just sort of think.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I
Gotcha.
don't know what the professor's deal is, but that might also take a little bit of getting used to. Also, there's someone else in here, Professor.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah, well, I can tell you he doesn't have aphantasia. God, as much as he speaks, out loud, he speaks even more in his head. Um, and not always in the same voice. Um, for various reasons. But this is not one he's heard before. At least, or no, he's not hearing anything, but the thoughts are not, these are not his. These are not his. What's going on?
Yep. I think like this sort of alien presence in your head like sort of pokes like, huh. Wouldn't I call this it are you okay?
Hello? What?
I think from outside, like it's just them sort of like staring off into space, like kind of splayed on like
Oh yeah,
on the
absolutely.
roof,
Yeah.
like this floating, floating, floating.
What's this?
Well, it's a few. I'm me and you're you, but who are they?
I, so we haven't. So I have. Hmm. Okay.
Well, I think we did. What do you think we did?
Uh. Well, usually, um, when everything's new and I can't remember who I am, it means I've died.
You can't remember who you are?
It. There's. Okay. No, I mean, I can. It's just. It's not. It's. It's not. It's a bit jumbled.
Oh, well, it always is with these. Well, it has with me. That might be a me thing.
Right.
But you didn't die.
What?
You had better not have died.
God, I hope not. I wasn't supposed to do
Sense of
that
like,
yet.
there's a sense of like, Angie, don't fucking die.
I don't plan on it. Not anytime soon.
Well, just jot that down. It just don't.
All right, all right.
Anyways,
What the?
this is too many shoulder blades.
What are we? This is. Hmm. Hmm. Just sort of like moving around, like, experimentally, like arms, uh, big wings, small wings that are like under the arms, and like that's weird.
Mm.
Um,
Uh,
legs.
one set of shoulders hurts very much.
Which one do you reckon?
I think I said it was the left one.
Hmm.
What? God damn, I can't remember my own character's like death wound. It for the purposes of tonight, it's left.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're also just like ugh, opposable thumbs.
God, why? Did we fall or something? What's. But this always hurts, doesn't it? What the, that doesn't. What is. And I think
This
they're
is
just sort of.
very uncomfortable.
I think they're just sort of like rubbing their shoulder, like, the fuck? Like.
It's like, ow, ow, stop touching that.
I'm not used to that being there.
Oh, well, you wouldn't be. Sorry. I can't tell if you know that we fused or not.
I
You
mean,
know a lot. How do you think around all of this?
uh, hmm. God, I don't know. There's just sort of like a lot of stuff going on, in their head, but like, but one thing comes to the surface, and they like, it's not necessarily like defined in a way that can be like read, but like they start like getting up and trying to stand up and like moving like the wings on the back, like stretching them out and, you know, experimentally figuring out range of motion and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I like to think that like the big wings are like wings, like
Mm.
like you might find out on a bird of prey.
Oh yeah.
But the smaller wings are a little bit more prehensile.
Yes, precisely. They're more like Donald Duck wings.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I think that like as the TOC presence in their head like sort of thinks, they kind of like the smaller wings sort of sign to themselves. Um, Sort of the way that people do when they're like sort of signing aloud to themselves.
mhm.
Just like, ugh, tall. Okay.
Hmm. I mean, well, yes. I suppose we're both taller than usual and shorter than usual. Well, usual. I've been tall for a while, but I didn't used to be. I mean, most people didn't used to be, but and there's sort of like a mental image of like two fairly short, uh, older looking people. One of them with white hair and one of them with a black bowl cut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, yes, these people are short.
Mm. It's like, well, see, that would have been more comfortable. Well, the first one, that one sort of looks like a little bit of a wreck, but the second one would have been more comfortable.
Mm.
Okay. It's having one set of wings is bad enough. We're going to have to be very careful not to overbalance with these things.
There is an impulse now, which is uh, run off the roof and, and try to fly.
There
What?
is, I think there's like, yeah, that would be dope. I think I know what happens, but oh my gosh, that would be dope.
Um. So what does 2C do with that? Because they're starting to this person is starting to like shift their feet around and like lean forward and, you know, sort of flap their wings
I think there's like,
behind them.
oh, TUC, we're how many minutes in? We're 50 minutes in and they're already giving me angst. I think that there's like a mental image of like, it's like, sure, they could fly, but if they don't, they're going to drop at least 2 stories and something is going to crack. And there is a sense memory of exactly what that feels like. And then they'll be hurt and they won't be able to defend themselves. And they're not alone in here, so they won't be able to defend the other person, which is worse. And they'll
Mm-hmm.
be out of commission, and Azumi won't be okay, and Scribbles won't be okay, and who will look after Seeker? And Juniper's going to be sad, and then they like
Mm.
kind of without thinking about it shut that down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they. Uh, I think with that they sort of like uh, shrink down a bit with their shoulders hunched and like, ooh, what in the
What?
God? It's not that. Ooh, that's uncomfortable.
What was?
Just here, hang on. And then there's like, there's kind of this um counterblast of like uh overconfidence, self-assuredness, ego, like yes we can fucking fly. Um we can do this, it's going to be fine. I've had worse. Like, yeah, so what if we break a bone? Like, shit happens, it'll heal, nobody's going to attack us, we're on a regular street. All the sort of like assuredness of a cognitive top of the food chain predator.
I think that like sort of background anxiety like kind of spikes and like there's just the certainty of like, oh no, you're gonna walk into like a dragon's mouth one day, aren't you? You're going to eyes open, head up, look at something that will definitely kill you and be like, I can make it out, and then try it and it will definitely kill you, and then they'll be sad.
Yeah, there's sort of a, yeah, they did. The the goop thing was not. Yeah, they did face a dragon. Um, but yeah, there's sort of a like. There's sort of a rejoinder even to that, which is like, listen, even if it goes south, like we come back. We always come back.
Mm, we always come back, but now there's people that will be sad.
Yeah, and that's gonna drag that right down because yeah, no, that is actually one of the big things that that is sort of one of the big caveats to that mindset with Professor that that is effective.
Mm. I
um
think there's also like a very visceral sort of sensation of like grief and hollowness and what it's like to be on the other side of that.
yeah, 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 and like there's sort of a in a sort of alien sort of way, there's like a feeling of like a similar thing, but like mourning the death of a self, like, you know, being changed so much, like it, like I actually like I like being me. I, you know, for as much, bluster as there is here, I don't actually want to skip to the next one. Um,
Mm.
you know, that sort of deal.
Boy, this is just like I'm imagining this takes place over the span of, I don't know, maybe 45 seconds, if that.
Yeah, like about a minute maybe. Like they're all just sort of they're just sort of like standing there like slightly reeling a little bit because whew,
Yep.
recalibrating.
I think that they like sit down and like both sets of wings sort of wrap around them, um, kind of Dracula-ish,
Mm-hmm.
and just like make a little space. And this feels like a um it feels familiar, but you've never done it before. But it feels like a coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
This is a way to self-soothe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's there's a small spark of like, why are we doing this? We don't need this. But like it's uh sort of like pushed aside because like, no, shush, like this isn't for me, this isn't for us, this like
Mm. I think that like there's an idea of like, shut up, this actually will work if you just stop fucking talking for a second.
yeah, they gotta try to be quiet. There are still many thoughts, they're just not like verbalized, but they are there.
Mm-hmm.
um there are many of them and they go very fast in a lot of different directions.
I think there's
Which does not necessarily mix well with anxiety.
yup, really doesn't. Gosh. I think like there like you can feel yourself like physiologically calming down, like um
Mm-hmm.
your pulse is slowing, and like perhaps their breathing had started to pick up, but now it's back, you know, where it usually is.
Mm-hmm.
And like sort of an off thought is like, this if this was how it was all the time, this would kill them. This would just um this would not be um
Sustainable.
oh, sustainable in the slightest. No.
uh there's a bit of like an optimistic, oh, I don't know, I don't know if it's that bad, but like, but also like, yeah, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it?
Oh no, they're a mess.
And what might not help is as they're calming down, with the lack of sort of an inner monologue to distract, they can figure out that uh, they're pretty self-aware of like uh, maybe more aware of um, like their body than the average person maybe, so like they can without having to think about it, like, feel their, their heartbeat, except it's little. That's not how it usually is it?
It's really not. I
Um,
think that like that actually doesn't scare them because they're like there's an not a comfort, but there's sort of a resignation to like 1 second you're in a form that's like tolerable, and the
mm,
next, you're in one that's completely alien and also falling apart. At least
mm,
this one isn't like actively dying.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's sort of like a poke at that, like, oh, what, like, in between, like, when you get uh transmuted and stuff, and then the thought, oh, we just got transmuted, this is the thing we're gonna have to deal with after this.
Later, later. We're doing this later.
Yeah, and then there's, and along with that, there is a small ping of like genuine like anxiety and worry from Professor's end for once.
Mm. You're just like there's a very brief flash of like what it's like from TOC's end to like feel themselves decaying, feel,
Mm-hmm.
the time leached from their bones, feel themselves shaped by the presence of one of the many people who's going to be left behind if this is the time they finally go. Before that's just like shut up, locked, put in a closet, and then explode. Like that's no.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the thought of like, will the dead god show up today?
Mm-hmm.
And that's also like, nope, shut, 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 shut. And instead, I think they like kind of aggressively lock on to the awareness of their heartbeat and that being different. Like, huh, don't think I've ever put this much like time and energy into noticing that before.
What, you not usually?
There's usually other things going on, or more people in here actually.
What? Oh, that's right, you've right.
Yes. And to be fair, I was fine that time.
Hmm. Yeah, alright. This is, and they just sort of like contemplate, like, okay, this is sort of a triple beat that's going on, not their usual double. And it feels a little weird. It's not just because of that, but like, uh, they ain't got blood, they got ink.
Mm.
And that's unfamiliar.
We just like, well, there's a possibility we have both, and it's just sort of like a double flavor. Like
I don't know. Half tunes are complicated.
half
Only,
tunes are complicated.
only we're a fusion. I don't know if we're that. Even. God,
Well,
Crystal would
let's
know.
see. If I'm half tune and you're none tune,
Hmm.
so that's
Quarter?
three parts real kind to one part. Like there's the like this is how TOC does math. Unfortunately, is like they're not slow, but they do need to go through it step by step.
Uh huh. Professors just jumped to the end, like. Uh, well, this is odd, but it's all right. Um, there's sort of just like the echo of the memory you had just a moment ago, which was like feeling the like time passing and like decay and all that, and like there's just sort of like just sort of like a sensation of like feeling that with a slightly different sense, and it feels like slimy and gross
Mm.
because there's something wrong with the time that is a part of TOC.
Yep.
um, and you know, and Professor knows this. He knows where TOC is from. Um, but yeah, just sort of like, ugh.
I think they study that for a second, and like their sort of instinctive reaction is like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's like that figures, honestly.
Hmm.
That's what that place was like.
Gross.
Yeah. Not not a place for a vacation.
No, no. I mean, like, uh, uh, co- cognitively bad. Like, just on a thought level, like, just regular reasoning. Bad. Not good. What's going on there? But, ugh, it also feels. Mm. And, well, that's not going to be necessarily something everyone's going to be able to pick up on, but. That'll be interesting.
Mm. There's sort of a depressed little thought in sort of the corner uh of their head, like that's where Pete is right now. That's where their girl is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just sort of a like, hush, like, put that put that away. Like,
That's for later.
yeah, this is for later. This is for later. We talked about this already. um,
I think there's the intrusive thought of like, you know what? Rather than thinking about that, maybe we should try to fly. At least pain is distracting.
there's immediate yes, and they start getting up.
Wait.
Absolutely latches on to that. Like, let's go. Let's ride this. Let's ride this impulse.
TUC isn't going to stop them, but there is like the thought of like, oh, this explains so much. This explains how you've managed to die 4 times in 700 years.
3, but yes.
3, excuse me. Um,
Yeah, no, there's just like, oh, I've fallen from a second story before, it's fine.
it's the roof. It's 3 stories high.
uh,
Great.
you know, it's not like an I don't take fall damage, but like, I survived. Like, it was okay eventually.
The difference is that the professor's like, I could heal myself, and TUC's like, I have over 100 hit points. That's all I got going for me.
Right, right. Well, yeah, and like, usually the professor has has healing magic, but not always. There have been times when he has not been able to do that.
Yep.
And still went for it. So, so yeah, no, they're just going to sort of like start doing that getting ready thing, sort of shaking out their feathers and
You know how cats sort of do calibration wiggles when they're about to
yes,
pounce?
yes, like that.
Oh no, it's adorable.
And then they're going to sprint off the roof, push off, and do their damnedest to fly.
Alright, what sort of fucking roll is this?
Athletics?
I guess.
Because that's what you do for swimming and climbing and like running and stuff. I would think that flight speed. I mean, I don't think we gave them a flight speed, but like I would think that flight would also be that.
Mm-hmm. It's
Especially considering they've not flown before, therefore, yeah, they do have to roll.
yeah, I think it would either be athletics or something to like figure out how to, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
But like,
would that
there's not
be
an
his?
introspection.
Oh,
Sort of.
survival.
Say again?
Survival, because that's sort of an instinct sort of deal, yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. All right,
Do you want to roll it?
sure. This is a bird type thing.
Mm.
Oh, hang on. Avery. That's D20 plus. Oh. Okay.
God, I think, okay, in all fairness, it is a 15, but that's pretty low on the dice, so I think what we can, I think a good sort of way to resolve this would be, they don't fly per se, but they do have a nice, safe, and controlled descent.
That was much more charitable than I was going to give them. I was going to propose, if you would.
Mm.
They successfully fly, and they do a pretty good job because that's a 15,
Mm.
but not for very long. Like
Okay.
they're like yes, and then like they can't. Like they either run into something or they can't figure out how to gain altitude, and they just sort of like kind of flop on their stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. They're also sort of like in a city, so it's like, yes, like they start going in a straight direction. It's like, oh, building. How do you steer? How do you stop? Like, ah. um, and they do end up on the ground.
I like to think that like however they go, they sort of roll to a stop, on their back, and like just sort of like both arms pump the air, like yeah. No, let me fuck. I don't know if that came across on recording, but I accidentally punched my lamp.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, yeah, just like, yes, we did that.
Flightless bird and times our achieved flight, more at 11.
Mm-hmm. Hey, this body does have some perks.
That was okay. I will grant you that's great. That was awesome. I think maybe we steer with like the little ones.
What? Oh. Uh, maybe.
Maybe.
Should
Let's try it again.
should probably do something with the tail too.
That would make sense.
Just sort of
That would make sense.
like right, it is not just the wings. Like bringing up schematics of like birds and planes and like aliens like with like wings and like wait, aerodynamics, this is a thing. Um
Mhm. For some reason, like you have to sort of like parse through it a little bit more slowly than usual. Um, almost, as if your intelligence score is not precisely what it should be.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, can't uh if they picked up a book, they probably couldn't speed read it. Um uh
The way Janae's going, they're lucky if they can read it.
yeah. Yeah. Uh So I think they're just like on the street now, like a good ways from. They're probably like a few houses down, or apartment. Like I don't know. They're like a building away.
Mm,
So they're not really super in danger of like waking up the household anymore.
yep.
At least. Um,
Yeah, and TOC gives absolutely no shits about their neighbors. Their neighbors irritate them to the highest possible quality.
uh, well, we have to call ourselves something because this isn't. They just sort of like wave at their body and themselves like this isn't the professor and this isn't TOC.
Hmm. Oh no. Oh, we're going to need to pick pronouns. I hate this part. Can you do it?
What? Oh,
I
yeah.
hate picking pronouns.
Yeah, no,
They don't
fine.
make sense.
Yeah, no, it's god, I've been mucking around with pronouns for 700 years. Yes. Um
Just don't refer to us as anything.
you can now, come on.
I know.
All right.
But title. We do need a title. What's a good title?
Hmm. Hmm. And there's a thought process which goes TOC, which goes Pete Moss, and the first time I met Pete Moss, and Pete Moss asked me what I did and didn't like my answer. So what did I say?
I think there's like, what the fuck is orology?
Oh, it's the study of uh, timekeeping and timekeeping devices, clocks and such.
That's absolutely adorable. That's so in character.
Well, it's not wrong.
I don't know if keeping time is what you do. Is it?
A bit, kind of.
I mean, if you squint and turn it upside down, maybe.
Well, yes, and well, like, okay, yes, maybe that's not the main thing that I do, but I do that. I do.
Okay.
I look. Then like they'll I think they'll just um they'll go to reach into their pocket and like the coat is not there.
Mm,
Because we took off the coat um,
they're just
before
like,
we fused. Well, anyway, I have a pocket watch.
oh, you might try a hammer space.
What? Oh,
Oh,
I
sure.
mean, I
It's
know what
like
that is, but how do you do
do
that?
do like a do pretend like you're a magician and like just pull something from the air.
Oh, like a pocket dimension, and just sort of like, um, just sort of like goes into their like vest, which like a pocket opens up where there wasn't a pocket before. And, you know, it's only there for the brief animation moment that it needs to be there, and like, oh, and they have the pocket watch. Like at the minute it was like dimensionally relevant, they were like, oh yeah, no, I know this. I couldn't do it before, but like,
TAC is just like, is times our type of tune? Is times our type of tune?
no, we're just we sort of do it we do dimensional um sort of trickery with by means of magic, psionics, mostly technology though.
Oh, so you're trying to be tune.
Uh, well, we came first, and they're sort of like raising their index fingers, like discussing this to themselves. Um,
Mm.
it did take us uh, tens of thousands of years to get to that point. Whereas Tunes did it in a matter of centuries or less. So the credit, I think for they just sort of like do various gestures with their hands, like, listen, I'm not saying we're better at it. We did come first, but like we're not trying to be Tunes. Tunes are like bonkers incredible for being able to come up with this, though. I don't understand it.
TAC is just like, huh, is it, I don't know if it's something we invented or something that we just kind of do.
It I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, considering it's a race trait, it could just be something you do because you weren't like Tunes weren't sort of. Oh wait, no. Tunes are more of a spontaneous being, if I'm remembering right. That weren't necessarily made purposely to be a certain way, but rather formed out of a miasma of the right conditions. Times ours are a
I
lot
think
less spontaneous than that, in many ways.
I think like you can feel like in comparison, it's like rather than a library, it's a single notebook, and like without any sort of like this is where this is where that is, sort of reference
Mm.
to help them find shit.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have like the little notebook of memory that's like they're paging through. Ah, yes, this is what I know about time czars. You know, no, this tracks. This is consistent.
Yeah. Where were we? Pronouns.
Oh,
Just sort of like walking around in a circle, thinking, fidgeting with their wings. Um, Mostly the back ones.
mm-hmm.
Swinging their arms. Well, I'll make my videos change your mind later. Let's see. No. Not feeling that. I mean, could, but that could be a little confusing. I don't know. What about a good old he him?
Nothing wrong with that, I guess.
And it just sort of like stand there and think and yes, all right.
TOC's mood like immediately improves now that that's a thing. It's like, thank God we're not going to have to do that ever again for this fusion.
uh, um, yes, and oh yes, and then the title, the horologist. Is that's acceptable? I rather like it.
Sure, seems difficult to control.
Fair enough.
It's it, I think it's interesting, like feeling POC sort of evaluation of the name of like it's less like, oh, does it roll off the tongue? Does it, is it pithy? Does it fit us? And it's more um, like how much of ourselves is in it versus how much like control does it retain?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like that seems vague enough.
Well, that's right. Something you mentioned something about uh being raised around Fae. That's right. There were Fae in the um area where you uh lived before certain names. Right. I mean that whole thing. Um.
Mm.
Hmm. I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, it's that's why I don't have an actual name, just a title.
Yeah. There's sort of like a was gonna say something but doesn't. Yes, that
Well, let's.
makes sense.
I think they actually. I should roll for this. Evens they poke, odds they don't. It's an 8. I think they're like, no, you can say it.
Well, no. It's just it's complicated, but I mean, my name isn't exactly a name either. I mean, it sort of is, but it sort of isn't.
Oh, you wouldn't have these rules, would you?
Well, no, we're not Fae, but we are definitely aware of Fae. So we, well, I mean, people have names, right? And then they have true names,
Right.
right? Well, like the Fae, we know about those. Um, and it's actually part of our um, sort of a rite of passage to figure yours out, actually, to learn it, which is rather dangerous because if you don't know it, you can't give it. It's more difficult to give it to somebody. You can only give somebody your name, which holds a decent amount of power over you, but not absolute control. And that depends on also how much Fey you are or not, and whatever rules. But yeah, no. I mean, I know what my true name is. And the Professor isn't it?
Well, I would hope not.
No, God, no. I wouldn't do that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Like they've been sort of nodding along. Like that's like this is also very familiar. Like they can. Um, they weren't there for the actual ceremony, but they remember very easily the memory when their girl got her true name
Mm.
and came out to sort of decompress and just pet them and give them treats and be away from people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, that shit's heavy. Um,
Tell me about it.
that's something that you only give to kids once they're ready for it.
Hmm. Uh, what age did, I suppose, Pete Moss? I'm kind of curious. I don't know as much about Fae as I would like, or
They
Fae society, etc.
like they're struggling because
Because,
chickens don't have a great concept of time.
yeah, or age, or, yeah.
Mm. They're just like, well, she had lost some of her baby teeth, but not all of them. And wearing, she was still wearing hand-me-downs, so she
Hmm.
hadn't started learning how to sew her own clothes. So she must have been
Well,
four-ish.
oh, gosh. Wow.
Fifth birthday, that was it.
Oh, alright. Okay. This is sort of like a shrug. Yeah, alright. Like, I can see that. I hope it
It
wasn't too intense of an experience.
they sort of like you get the impression like I think that like the smaller wings do like a seesaw motion and they look down like um and they're just like well most I got the impression they she was a little bit young for it
Oh.
um but I don't remember if something happened or if someone pushed for it to happen sooner
Hmm.
or something
Hmm.
but it's heavy.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
Mm.
Well, and
I think you also like get over the course of this conversation like a pretty good impression of like what she was like back then. Like this
mm,
kind of like very serious, very focused, like very like a very bright, happy little girl. But with this undercurrent of like, yes, this is what we're doing. I am focused on this one thing, whatever it is.
mm, mm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, 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 no. That's good. Um. Yeah. No. I mean, that's useful to have because I mean, like the professor didn't. Professor met Pete Moss once. That was it.
Mm.
Uh,
Also, it's confirmation that like, yep, like beyond a shadow of the doubt.
yeah. That's the person. That's her. Yeah. I wanted to note two things, which is that I don't think that TOC would, but if they like brushed up against like the like just sort of like the area where the memory of that ceremony and the uh knowledge of the true name would be, like that's locked up, uh
Mm-hmm.
like very secure, uh purposefully keeping that like actively blocking that, um
Yeah.
consciously even, and also like it's a significant, you get the sense it's a significant memory, like so much so that like okay, he's 700 years old. If you were going to have a timeline with 10 dots on it, it would be one of those dots
Mm-hmm.
of key
Yeah, I
points.
think a key point.
Mm.
I think that they don't poke at it directly, but they just like they glance over to make sure like that's tied down, right? Like I'm not gonna bump into that. No, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and they're just like, yeah,
Mm.
like this is something that they have like very intensely in common is just like names are serious business.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when
The
people.
professor likewise isn't probing for uh, either peat mosses if TOC would know it, or TOCs. Like, not at all.
Hmm, I mean, TFC just plain doesn't have one.
That's
Like
fair.
that portion of identity and that like that source of meaning and knowledge that the professor has,
Mm.
they don't have that, and
Because
they're at
they
peace with that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um,
Because they were a
and
chicken.
they were a chicken. Like it's, I think he might like the reason why no one. It wasn't that people didn't bother to name them. It was
Mm-hmm.
that it was a security breach. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a chicken, can only do so much damage, but like imagine if someone could like mind control a horse to attack you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, certain things you didn't give them their true names, so because then somebody else could get it, and etc. etc.
Hmm.
Like the professor said, like, it's dangerous to know your own true name because somebody could get it from you.
Hmm.
Like, that's why it's better that most people don't know theirs, frankly. They can be controlled through names that are maybe close to it, but like, nothing as core deep as capital T capital N true name.
Hmm. Yeah. Actually, it might be an interesting sort of distinction to make is that like TFC, like it's not that they don't know it, it's that they are wholly convinced that they don't have one.
Oh.
It's like that's um like it's not what they're sort of thinking about right now, but if like he like prods or
Let me roll
comes into
something.
contact with that. Say again.
Let me roll for that, because I
Sure.
want that, but let's see, insight, I think. uh
Insight with an advantage.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
because it's
and I
insight
don't.
on the self, basically, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is 24.
Yep. Yep. Then do it. All right. Hang on. Let me get my thoughts in order.
Mm-hmm,
Ever get so delighted by an insight roll that like
mm-hmm.
you have to take a second to calm yourself down because you can't be like, "Yay, trauma."
Yeah, I get you.
Um.
Aha, I get to drop lore and stuff.
Yup.
Haha.
TOC. Well, don't drop Blore. He's very breakable. Um. It, like TOC hasn't really examined this, at, at least not for a long while. But it's sort of the idea of like, well, of course they don't have a true name. People have true names.
What, there's sort of no, fuck it, they're a tune. There's a record scratch.
There's a record stretch, and TOC looks up like, what the fuck was that?
Well, hang on. TOC, do you think only uh, the classic understanding of sapient people have true names?
Well, yeah, kind of.
Uh, okay. Like, I did say I wasn't entirely okay. Okay. I know a bit about Faye, but that doesn't sound right to me. In fact, I I mean, it'll depend who you ask, I think, but Well, I mean, some people, frankly, think that everything has a true name. I mean, like, just sort of like kicks a soda can that's uh, on the road. That has a true name.
I mean, that's a school of thought, but
Listen,
like
listen.
they're like,
Ah, but a tree. Can a tree have a true name?
I mean, at least by the rules that I grew up with, no. Like
No.
that's why you didn't give animals any name at all because that was like a hack.
What? No. What? But they're a thing that exists in the universe. This isn't an 100% Fae phenomenon. Like, it's, yes, the Fae are sort of the ones who own it and use it and have harnessed it and recognize it culturally, but like, I'm not Fae, and yet I have a true name. Like, so it's not just a thing that they make and do.
Well,
It,
to be fair, you don't have to be Fae to have a true name,
no,
but you do need to be like sapient and sentient.
right, but to what where are the lines that draw between something that's sapient, non-sapient, and sentient, non-sentient, and alive and not alive,
I
even?
mean, okay, riddle me. If something complete, what if does something completely manufactured have a true name? Like a computer. Could you control a computer with a true name?
There is a solid yes, and immediately just sort of like brings up, like, here, like, tap into this sort of like mind thread, and it's the connection to the ellipses.
I think TAC is like, huh? Wait, wait, hold up. Since when is your ship alive?
Since always?
What do you mean since always?
She's a she's alive. She's a living thing. Yes, okay, she's machinery, but she's alive.
They they have stopped listening. They're just like, oh my god, I've been so rude.
There are organic parts, but they're not. It's not organic in the usual sense. Like, listen, we've got this sentient metal.
They're just like, I have been so rude. Oh no, I have to apologize. Oh no.
No, stop. Most people think she's just a thing, and she's used to that and doesn't mind it.
Well,
She's
that's sad.
no, it's
That's not the way it should be.
okay. No, but she also no. It's less that and more that she is so above that she doesn't care. Um, she's she's not less than a person. She's more than a person. She's a place. She's a phenomenon. It's she doesn't mind not being recognized as a normal person because she's not a normal person. It's complicated.
It's complicated. I think like TAC is just like, well, like that's like first of all, like there's like awe and wonder at that concept because like one, they didn't like they're kind of inadvertently being confronted by like the anthropocentric nature of some of the things that they've taken for granted for a long while. So
Sure.
like we'll unpack that later. But also just like, well, that sounds wonderful and that sounds beautiful and that's something to be in awe of. But they also just want to be like check in and just be like, hey, I want to respect you. And God, like I think the thing that like appalls them most is like there was another member of the family that they have not been directly taking care of. Shit.
Aw.
Um,
Uh,
there's now like you may not be supposed to be aware of this, but they're going through like I can't knit them a sweater. I can't bring them food. This is hard.
oh, yeah, no, there's, uh, yeah, off of, like, originally when the professor was, like, explaining all this, like, there was also awe, but also affection from his end. And then, like, off of a thought, like, family member, to be taken care of, a thought that branched off of that was, like, oh, yeah, I need to. It just sort of brought up, like, a to-do list of, like, oh, yeah, let's see, need uranium, need to fix that, need to repair that, need to replace that. Just sort of like, all these things that I have to do for the ellipsis, without really, like, thinking about it. Like, it just sort of connected automatically.
Mm-hmm. God, parrot squared.
So, like, no,
Like,
you
or not
can't.
even parent, but like caretaker. Like they're
Yeah,
just both the busybodies who are like, if I don't fix this, no one will.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but it's like, no, you can't knit them a sweater, but they do have needs, and. Mm.
Okay. It's I would like to do something nice to I would just like to do something nice. Her, them, her,
Oh,
it.
she and it are usually the go-to.
Okay.
I mean, that's mostly what I use. She really doesn't care, but that's what I've used for our pretty much all of our time together, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll be honest, I also wasn't super convinced that she was a person the first 50, 100 years that we traveled together, so.
Professor.
Listen, I wasn't like this. I wasn't. I was a real ass.
Mm. I think a lot of people are when they're young.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure she's proud of how far you've come.
Well, there's sort of like a sheepish, like, embarrassedness. Oh, I don't know. I hope so. Anyway, um, what were we talking? True names.
Oh
TOC.
God.
Look, even if you didn't have one before, like, okay, first of all, I disagree, but if you didn't, I'm willing to bet you have one now.
It. Mm,
It would be, it would be astronomically unfair if you didn't.
well, I don't know how to explain this. It's just I don't I don't need one. I don't need a true name for what I'm for.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
I mean, I don't need one for. I just don't need one.
Okay. No, no, no. What
Yes.
do you mean for what you're for?
Well, they kind of like sigh in their head, just like, oh boy, all right, you're not going to like this one bit.
I think as they're doing this, they're just sort of like pacing down the street and occasionally like stopping and like turning in a circle and going in a completely different direction, like completely aimless wandering. It looks bizarre.
I think because Juniper's garage is in a fairly seedy part of Toontown, I think that like someone comes up to mug them and is just like, you know what? This is gonna backfire.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever's going on with that weirdo is gonna backfire.
Yeah, like, oh, I actually want a part of this. No thanks. Not tonight. That's very funny. They don't even fucking notice. They're too they're too focused on their inward contemplation.
Yep, their argument. I think like I think you get like a very like it's one of the memories from before they were like cognitively they were set up different.
Yes.
Like um it's it's a memory from being an animal
Yes.
where like their their entire world was like pain radiating from a wound in their shoulder,
Mm.
and this knowledge that like somewhere out there is their girl at risk, in danger, and they would give anything to protect her, to be the family that she didn't get, to have this be a sacrifice that was worth something.
Mm.
And they feel you feel like this sense of like eternity and age and the transition that comes with like
Endings.
this time of scale that happens when you think about planets and galaxies.
Mm. Mm.
Um, and you feel yourself sort of like that wish being granted.
Mm-hmm.
And TOC like kind of snaps because like that's a very personal memory and you will not be sharing it around. That's what I'm for.
Mm. There's like quiet and thoughtfulness and processing, but there's something underneath, like, that's sort of like being held down, which is like there's an objection uh in there. Um and he doesn't he's not like said it, but it's there. Um and
I think there's like I think you feel them sort of holding themselves back from being like, no, sure, we're in a sharing mood, like because no, that's not an adult reaction. That's them like being um being emotional and defensive, and that's not what the professor deserves to be treated with.
mm-hmm.
So instead they just do like the peanuts sort of like scribble over their head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, ooh.
You don't have to just you don't have to just have the one purpose. Just because you were um what do they call it, not ascended, awakened with a particular purpose in mind doesn't mean that you're locked to it. It's not, you're more than just that. Okay, maybe that's your primary goal, maybe that's your maybe that's um, your primary motivation for everything, but you're not just that. Nobody's just that. Not even you. Because when you get to this sort of personhood, it's impossible to just be that. It's not an
TOC, please be an
option.
adult. I'm sorry. Hang on. Like, TOC's just got this sort of frustration and the stubbornness of, like, well, maybe you can't.
What can't what?
Can't just be. Can't just be that.
TOC, I'm trying so hard. Listen, I was raised to think everyone was beneath my kind. Ah! I am trying to tell you. Look, I had to learn that humans were valuable people. I'm trying to tell you you are. I'm not well suited for this. I'm not in a good position to be doing this.
It's. Hmm.
Hang on a second.
Oh, how we doing, gallery?
I'm back.
Hello.
Whew.
How are you, by the way?
What?
How are you feeling, by the way?
Oh, fantastic.
Nice.
You good?
Just good to check in when, like, the emotions for the
Oh.
characters are up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think TOC, like, they they sort of like, actually, let me roll. Let's see, this would probably be, I'm going to say a straight wisdom to just calm down and be like
Mm.
rational.
Mm-hmm. Well, thankfully we have a high wisdom.
Yep. Should I use the orologist or theirs?
Oh, probably the urologist, just because they are connected.
Sure.
They can sort of borrow each other's skills in this space.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then. Ah,
Mm.
it's above 10.
It is. Not by
It's,
much, but it is above 10.
yeah, with a low success. I think, like, there's this sort of frustration of, like, the professor not getting it. They don't know how to explain this. This is, like, important and central to their themness, and they really wish they could make this more understandable.
Mm.
But I think instead they sort of, like, take a deep breath and just, I'm sorry. I um I apologize.
Uh, what? What?
Th- this isn't this isn't fair to put on you to. hmm, a, a good way to explain me is that the basic parts, like all the thing, like if you strip away my experiences and my knowledge, and you just get to the the basic ingredients, that was sort of cobbled together in a hurry. It's that wish that I showed you, that was the last thought that I had before my brain shut down the first time. Um and all of the parts of me that are me are built on that foundation. And I understand what you're trying to express to me, I think. But I don't I don't know how many things there are like me out there. In a lot of ways I feel like a construct, or something like that. Not quite, not quite operating on the same level as everyone else.
Well, there are other beings, not quite in your same situation, but something akin to it. And for the record, uh, I know plenty of constructs who are people, and just because you started out that way doesn't mean you can't, doesn't mean you haven't grown beyond that. Yes, okay, maybe if you strip away your experience, then that's who you were then. Well, if you strip away my experience, who am I? I'm not the professor. You can't just take away that piece of yourself and say that everything left over is what's valid. No. Your experience is part of you. Your growth is part of you. And so I'm saying that that part, if not the rest, and I would quibble about that, but if not the rest, your experience makes you more than that. Makes you more than just that.
Perhaps. I think you can feel them sort of thinking hard about this, and I think also thinking about like the the impressions that they got of the ellipsis, and not being less than a person, but more than a human, and like they're going to have to digest this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
This concept of, just because you're not a person in the traditional sense doesn't mean you're you're less.
Yeah.
And that's probably about as good as you're getting tonight from this extremely stubborn bird.
Yeah. The professor can, I think, sense that in the way, like, uh, he, he is, like, placated when, like, TOC sort of, not concedes, but sort of, like, lets that be and sort of, like, is gonna think about that later. But, because, and then, like, before that, because if they hadn't, like, there was, like, there was just sort of like yeah, no, like a mulish sort of like no you're wrong like underneath that might have kept going. But as it is, like, okay, all right, okay, like I've started it. They're gonna think about it. We can have this conversation again later, but for now, that's I've won. It's all good.
They are actual toddlers.
Uh-huh. Yes.
I think that like that like feeling of like, oh good, I won the conversation, like if that filters to TFC, like they have to like keep themselves from being like
Uh-huh. Uh,
like it's just they have the intrusive thoughts of I want to hit him. Not to do damage, just in general.
uh, oh boy. Gosh.
I think that like they look around and they're just like we need to stop. We need to go somewhere else. We can't just be in the street. We're going
Um,
to get stabbed and die again.
what, you don't think we can take a mugger?
It we probably could, but there could be more than one mugger. There could be an army of muggers. Can we please just go?
An army? Please. No, no, no. What, 10 months ago? I ran into some muggers and it wasn't a problem. There was a whole gang of kids. Well, kids, not older. Well, no, they were young adults. And it was fine!
You can their hands with some 13-year-olds.
No! I mean, compared to me, yes. But they were like 28, probably.
I can't believe you punched a toddler.
I did not! I did not. No, 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 no. I cast a spell, I pulled my knife, and then we ran away.
You pulled a knife on a toddler.
I did not pull a knife on a toddler.
TOC is taking advantage of his distraction to just like steer them towards like a place where they can probably get food or something.
Yes, good. Well, and for the record, I wasn't by myself. I was protecting somebody. So there.
Okay, that's justified. If it's for someone else, you can pull a knife on as many toddlers as you want.
Thank you.
Gosh, where did they go for food?
Um it's nighttime. It's very late and or very early in the morning. Um I there's no God, I don't know. The only thing that I could think of that would be open is like either a 24-hour convenience store or a bar.
Fantastic. I mean,
Do you want to get bar food or like a shitty Subway?
well, I'm thinking about them as characters and sort of their sort of makeup.
The professor is not thinking about food. This is not on his priorities.
Okay, TOC is probably going to go for like birdseed or some shit or vegetables.
Okay, fair enough.
I think they go to the 24-hour convenience store, and they just go up like while they're still in the middle of the argument.
Mm-hmm.
Professor, you're suddenly aware of them addressing someone else and being like, "What aisle is the lettuce on?" Just this poor clerk being accosted by,
This thing.
yep, this eldritch big bird, looking fucker with question.
Mm,
They have humanoid hands. Are the
yes.
hands real kind?
No.
Okay.
No. They look like they are like in the style of being realistic, but they are not actually real kind. Oh, and actually, I meant to
Okay.
mention the sort of like the palm and the pads of the fingers, and along some of the inside of the wrist is sort of more of that like scaly. It's like a mix between like really calloused and like that sort of like scaly chicken feet sort of texture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this poor clerk is just like, um, we don't have what? Um,
Are we
I
getting
think he
lettuce?
like say again.
No, I think they just say like, "Are we getting lettuce?" out loud.
I they like this the hand sign. Well, I don't know what else we'd eat at this time of night. What do you usually eat?
There's like a complete blank, and then like, fuck, I don't know, whatever's in the ellipses. Stop. KT in the audience just said burnt orange juice. He's never
Oh
gonna live
dear.
that down. Uh,
He's like, how do you burn orange juice?
oh my god.
Why was orange juice near heat in the first place?
Um,
Did
have you
did
met
he spill it?
Have you met Amber?
They like you feel them like go like through the index, like the rolling thing that has information on all of their kids.
Right. Yeah.
And Amber? No, not yet. Oh, Seeker knows an Amber.
Yes.
Lore knows an Amber. Is it the
Correct.
same Amber?
Yes, it is. Fire tune. Does that
Okay.
explain the orange juice?
Why did you let a child burn orange juice?
I was a bit indisposed. You know, Epsilon.
Ah. So the unaccompanied child burns the orange juice.
Yes.
Understood.
Mm.
I'm not getting you burnt orange juice.
I don't. I wasn't going to ask for any. At this point, I think they've probably just like turned away from the clerk and are sort of like standing in the way like of the counter, like talking to himself.
Like they go back and forth between signing and like speaking out loud.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no. Oh no. I think they just like they're like, well, let's see, what do we have here? Lots of things in bags, lots of
Mm.
unappetizing pastries.
Mm.
That those horrible drinks where like they put bubbles in it for some reason.
Mm. How do you drink with a? No, hang on.
You've seen me drink.
No, I have. I
You've seen me
have.
drink both ways.
Yes, but out of a can?
Well,
I guess
it's
you
not
just gotta.
that different from drinking out of a cup.
You're gonna spill it everywhere, though. You can't. You
Well,
don't
you
have.
don't.
You don't, have. You don't 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 have. You don't
you just sort of stick the tip of your beak in, and then you put your head back and let gravity do its, its gravity thing.
That's... Or we could just tilt our head back and pour it in.
Or we could do that. That sounds absolutely terrible with the bubbles.
Well, we can get something non-carbonated then.
What's that drink that I think Scribbles made it a couple times, and I had it with Philippe. Oh, coffee. We could get coffee.
Oh, I guess.
Oh, you don't like it?
I mean, I prefer tea. Coffee's alright.
Well, maybe they have tea. We go back to the clerk.
I doubt they have tea.
Well, one of us has to ask for tea. Am I doing it, or are you doing it?
But you ask.
Fine, I will. We just go up and they sign, do you have tea? And the clerk's like, we have sweet tea in bottles.
No.
I don't think I've ever had that before.
No.
No?
No, we'll get coffee instead.
I think they just... I think they're just like, well, what do you have? Just like, just caffeinated things? We have a selection. You can find them over in the corner.
Okay, and they go in the corner. Like, no, fuck this. I don't want to do this interaction anymore. I can get my own damn drink.
I will say they probably have, they probably do have different types of candy. And I look at the professor.
Gosh. Oh, gosh. I think they get their drink first and then they discover that, because it's usually when you check out.
Mm.
But yeah, Professor, probably... he only knows... he really only is used to the two types of coffee, which is black and Irish, which means it has whiskey in it. And they're not serving that, so he gets black coffee.
I mean, a 24-hour convenience store probably does have whiskey, but TOC will be like, we don't need to be drunk. We don't need to be drunk. This is already a train wreck. We don't need to be drunk.
You can get drunk?
I mean, presumably a neurotoxin is a neurotoxin.
Huh. Well, I mean, sure. It's just sort of like, right, yeah, that's a thing.
Like, wait, you can't get drunk?
Kind of have, kind of overambitious liver metabolism doesn't work. Not alcohol, at any rate.
TUC's, like, immediate intrusive thought is just like, well, what would work? Like windshield wiper fluid or something?
What? No. Oh, God. Oh, that reminds me. Fuck, no. He swears
What?
a lot more like this.
Yep.
No, just don't stop. There's already this person. There's this. Uh, oh god, it's so hard to explain this person every time I have to mention. So there's this beholder named Large Luigi, and he
I'm sorry, go on.
look, yes, we do a trade, and one of the things he does is try every time to serve me something different to see if it'll make me drunk. And it's not worked yet. And it's been a while.
You know what I think you need? And I'm not going to do this tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it works, frankly, I don't want to share a head with you.
Uh-huh.
But the next time we hang out, I want you to try Toon root beer where I can see it.
Okay.
You know how alcohol isn't allowed in cartoons?
Well, some of them, yes.
Instead, we have root beer.
Okay. I think I've also seen expired apple juice on the shelves.
That sounds disgusting. They go and get like a pack of root beer and like put it in the hammer's face and just like, that's for later. We'll pay for that. That's for later.
Okay. Alright. Fine. He has no idea.
I don't know if it will work or not, but TFC's just like, you know what? This is what I got. This is gonna be fun.
Oh gosh. Okay. We have our black coffee. We have that, I guess. What's... I don't know. This is not food. This is
This
drinks.
isn't food.
Do we want food?
We should probably have food. They don't even have sunflower seeds. This place sucks.
Hmm.
I guess we could have like chips or something.
Crisps. I mean, we could.
Ruined corn.
I don't know. My sense of taste is all... I don't know. Still figuring it out.
Have you ever taken an afternoon where you don't have anything else to do, where you just try different things to find out what sort of foods you like?
No.
I recommend it. It's they do a gesture, which probably looks weird from the outside. When you're a bird with bird senses, a real kind bird in a toon sort of area, it's worth knowing that, what seems sweet to you may not be sweet to everyone else. What seems really strong to you might not seem strong to everyone else.
Well, I mean, I think generally speaking, I've sort of a similar taste range to, I don't know, a few humanoids, human, elf, dwarf, just sort of a average, but so nothing extremely out there, and I don't think I have any allergies. So I don't know, spin in a circle, point at something, and we'll get that. I am not...
Fine.
Alright.
They spin in a circle. What should I roll?
Hang on,
Maybe just a straight D20 to see how good the thing is?
Yeah. Yeah,
Here, I'll use a physical dice for this one.
one being absolutely terrible, disgusting, hardly edible food, and 20 being like, oh shit, why does a grocery store have, why does a, this is great.
Hmm. Actually, what if... No, I'm doing one roll with my one dice that seems to really like nat ones and nat 20s. And then I'm going to do one in FPS notes.
Mm.
Huh, okay. Roll. Okay, so we have a 3 and a 17.
How do you want to resolve having two rolls? Do you want to get two things?
Um, yeah, actually, because I think that both of these rolls are tasty as hell.
Yeah.
Like one arm grabs one thing, one wing grabs another,
Mm-hmm.
and then gosh, no, they don't actually have to juggle with the coffee because they have that many limbs.
Yep. I think the 17 is maybe like a fruit parfait cup sort of thing. Like more fruit than not, but it's got some, yogurt and granola in there, and that seems uh nice.
Chickens actually like both of those things.
Good.
Um, and then the 3,
Is it gonna be like beef jerky or something? Like,
I mean, if it was a nat 1, I'd go with chicken jerky.
oh
Um,
god.
you know what I think it is? I think it's a knockoff of jelly beans called Fun Beans.
Oh god.
And TAC looks at those and they're just like, "You like jelly beans, right?
Uh, yes.
These look similar.
Yeah. All
Want to
right.
get these? All right. What did you pick?
This. It's called a parfait.
Nice." So they pay for a pack of root beer,
Mm-hmm.
one black coffee,
Mm-hmm.
a parfait, and Fun Beans.
Yep. Well, now what? Now where are they gonna go? I think this. I think we should. I think this is when. I think they should find a tree or something.
Yeah, honestly, I think that bird of prey instincts kick in and they're just like, in order to properly enjoy a tasty treat,
Mm-hmm.
one must be a pie.
Yeah.
Shall do you want to roll athletics?
Yeah. Sure. All right. Okay, that is a plus. God, our athletics is so high. 22.
Alrighty. I think without even thinking about it, like they just whoosh and they're up high. And like it's not until they start settling in that they're like, wait. It's like, oh, that went distressingly well.
Professor is very pleased.
Mm.
All right, yeah, just sort of like, okay, we are in a tree. Or are we in a tree or like a building, do you think?
Um, TFC's instinct would have been to go for a tree.
Okay, so maybe there's a very tall tree. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and just sort of, find a sturdy branch and uh, latch onto it and uh, yeah, talons useful.
Yep. I think that They bounce the coffee comedically on a different branch as they sort of like this there and that there. Um, they're just like, okay, what are we trying first?
I don't know.
I mean,
Oh, coffee. I want to know if I can get. I don't. I want to know if it works like this.
sure.
It doesn't usually. Caffeine usually doesn't work well for me, or at all.
Mm. I don't know how well it works on me. I've never paid attention.
Hmm. What neither of them know or have realized is that they are a toon and they must follow the laws of toons with regards to coffee.
Yep. Yep.
uh, um, okay, I think we figure out how they drink it because Professor is like at a loss.
I think TOC is just like, move over, you big baby. I've got it. And they just sort of like dip their beak in and tip their head back and go, and just like that. See? It's not rocket science. Although, honestly, you'd probably be more equipped if it was rocket science, wouldn't you?
I would. And now I think they roll con
I think they roll con.
with a high DC because
Because
would you like to
they
roll?
do have pretty good
They do.
con, to be fair.
They do. Where's their saves?
Top of the page?
Oh, I see. Holy shit, their save is so good. What the heck?
Okay, what's the DC for this one?
I'm gonna put it at 25 because that's ridiculous.
Feel good about this one. Alright.
What no?
Consider. May I roll at disadvantage?
Do it. God, and I thought that was I thought it was gonna be enough. Okay, that's a lot
There
better.
we go.
A 13.
I think that like they're like they have a couple seconds of like sort of peacefully munching. Like they realize they forgot the spoon for the parfait and they're like, oh. And like around I don't know, the 60-second mark, like they get big silly eyes like a cat.
Well, the thought that Professor just gave me was climb to the top of the tree and jump off it. um,
Yeah, I think that TAC's like, that would break every bone in our body. It's fine. It's probably fine. We're nice and sturdy. It's just gravity. What's gravity?
uh-huh. Gosh. Um, uh, I want to do athletics to see how high they get, and then, another roll to see how they manage this fly/fall while they're caffeinated. So I think I'm gonna do athletics at disadvantage twice.
Indeed.
Okay, that's okay, that's 4 rolls. Okay, what's our athletics? It is a
Athletics is a plus 13.
Okay, so that is a unnatural 20 to get up the tree, so I think they manage all right.
Unnatural?
Unnatural 20.
Okay.
And then a 19 to manage what comes next. So,
All right.
God, their stats are so ridiculous.
They're broken.
Yeah.
We need to fix some of them because we do seem to like to torture them.
Yeah, no, we can just set the DCs really high.
Fair.
This is what you gotta do for a high level character.
I think that they just like. I think that they actually like manage flying with a 19.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're there and they're like gaining altitude and like they're not falling.
Mm-hmm. Gosh. Where are they
TOC
going?
is just giving me like just wonder and this is fun and they have their friend who they like a lot and it's good evening.
Hmm. The professor's take is a little more adrenaline junkie than that. Like, ha ha.
Oh boy, that's a mix, isn't it?
You're sort of like, you know, like the runner's high. Uh, that people get.
You know, one thing that um I really relished in the Floriography FPS where um Nebula, TOC, and Marigold all fused is
Yeah.
that they kind of accidentally sparked, myths and legends
Oh
about,
my god.
a local cryptid that flies through the air above Toontown,
God,
perching on rooftops and whatnot.
there's another big large bird tonight. Big large black bird. Fantastic.
Yep. And I really don't think that they're quiet, are they?
No, I don't think so. They're not like an owl or anything. I don't think they need to be quiet.
No, I'm just imagining like just like deep maniacal laughter,
Yes.
like from above.
Yeah, that's about right.
Oh no.
Oh gosh. Well,
I think that's what they're left to for probably until like the caffeine rush wears off.
oh god, yeah.
Which, to be fair, may be cartoonishly short.
Yeah.
Uh,
It might only be a few minutes.
yep.
I want to say 5 minutes. Like they get their rush and then and then they start to crash. Maybe they literally crash. Maybe they crash back into the tree just because bookends.
I like to think that like they crash into the top and then
Mm-hmm.
like there's the dun 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 of them
Yes.
like falling through it back to where they like left their food and their coffee.
Yes. Yes. Gosh. Yes. Ah. Ooh. Okay.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I do not want to do it again soon.
They're sort of
I
like squid, like, I don't know. We could do it again.
We could do it again. We should do it again another night.
Okay. Let's finish our food feast. I think I'm actually hungry now.
Mm. Burn calories.
Uh-huh.
Do we want to roll a D2 to see which one they go for first?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Or I'll go odds and evens. Let's say evens is the parfait, odds is the fun beans.
Mm.
15.
Great.
They're like,
Okay.
It's like,
Good.
well, sugar is good after like when you're hungry from an exercise because it gets your blood sugar back up, right? Something like that.
They're sort of like, no, that's not scientifically sound, but I want to eat those.
You
So
think they take
sure,
one out?
whatever you say.
TSC's like, shush and help me figure out how to eat these with a beak.
uh, I think they tear it open pretty easily.
Mm.
With their beak. Uh, well, they're just like seeds. They're just like you just just sort of like dips his head in and gets some.
Well, we have hands.
Show what?
Oh my gosh,
I don't
you're
usually
a
have a
toddler.
beak.
Like, well, like you don't just stick your face in your food. Never, maybe you do. I don't control your life.
If it was socially acceptable, I'd do it a lot more.
Do we want to like? How long until you think they register how bad these jelly bean knockoffs are?
Oh boy.
mean, I think with a three,
I
like
mean,
maybe like
it's probably one of those things where like they're chewing for a while and then they're like, oh fuck.
they're just like oh I am almost certain that both of these characters have like texture things with food. What
Yeah.
if like they're just like they tune into their mouth and they're just like ooh
Like
oh no.
no. Yeah, no, just gonna spit those out. Gross.
Oh no, they're really high up. Oh no.
God damn it.
From below them, they just hear, oh no, why? What gods have I shamed?
Ah. God, the urologist is just busy like scraping their hand on the inside of their mouth, like yuck.
They're just like, I don't know why you like those.
Ah, no, those are just terrible.
You constantly carry a bag of them around with you.
I carry gummy bears, and for the record, jelly beans are good, but these are not these are not those. These are these are these are
They're little pellets of
charlatans.
sadness.
They are pretenders.
Well, that was a copper well spent, I think. What else do we have?
Let's hope the parfait is good.
We still don't have a spoon.
Well, that's what hands are for.
You are a mess. It's out of the two of us, you were not the one raised in a barn.
Ah.
Just like at least like go get like a stick or something.
No, look, shush. They dig into their hammer space, and oh, there's like 10 items here. I'm gonna roll because they have a hammer space.
Yep.
Okay. D20. That's an 18. They get it. They take. He takes out. Oh, let's see. What would I use for this? Doesn't have a spoon. Oh wait, no, they're a toon. They can have a spoon.
I mean, would it be more thematically appropriate for them to have a spork?
Yes. So they try for a spoon, but they get a spork. And it's like, okay.
It's better than whatever you had planned.
Whatever.
Just like, no, we're going to revisit this. I don't consider myself, prudish in the ways of cutlery and table manners.
Have you ever
But
traveled?
I I think that we've established that I have not.
Okay. Like, okay. Listen, alright, listen. When you're traveling by foot and all you've got is rations or whatever you can get from the surrounding area, you've probably not got utensils with you. Sometimes if you did, they were taken or lost or something, and you've just got to make do.
Well, granted, but it's yogurt.
Yes?
It's like it's basically a liquid. It's a liquid with airs and graces.
It's you can still you just stick your fingers in it and get a glop of it and put it in your mouth. And lick it off your fingers. This is not
Well,
hard.
we have a spork, so please don't.
All right, we will use the spork. Yeah, and the parfait, as we rolled before, is very good. It has
Yes.
several things that both of them like.
They very grumpily eat the very good parfait.
All right. Yep. Nope. They have that, and then they have they have their coffee. They're able to just drink it regularly now because they've already done the gag.
Yep.
They just like shove the fun beans off of the branch, and it goes plummeting.
The same voice goes, "Oh God, why? Why didn't I move before?" I think that like eventually TOC will go, it's really amazing and perhaps a testament to the sort of way that we treat each other as a baseline that none of these arguments have made us almost unfuse.
What? What?
Well, when you don't mesh well with the other person, and you are constantly arguing, that can cause you to go out of sync.
Oh. Oh, okay. Right.
Hmm.
And he seems to be pulling from some sort of like some like reference in his memory to like connect to this. Like, okay, it's like that, and it's kind of like that. So, like, just sort of gets it. Okay,
Mm.
all right. Um, I mean, I guess we don't really. I mean, we also haven't been put in any situations where I know we definitely disagree on things.
Mm.
At at least, I mean,
It's never caused us to, clash over which way to steer the body or something like that.
oh, I mean, you can, huh? I mean, I guess. I didn't know that was. I just assumed this is how it was how it went.
I mean, I think it is for us.
Right.
I can say it was not like this in the slightest with Nebula and Marigold because you are not in the slightest like Nebula and Marigold.
Sure, sure. Huh. Well, I don't know. I guess we just I don't know. I guess we've got some things in common.
Mm.
And we're tolerant enough of the uh, differences that we can just sort of roll with it when we want to do something the other person isn't particularly interested in.
This is true. You can be as wrong as you like.
Okay.
You can probably TOC is not making a secret of the fact that they knew that was going to get you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, uh, if we did get accosted, that might be, we might have a difference in opinion, uh, as to how to take care of that.
Mm.
I mean, now that I've got you in here, like, maybe not, because you are probably. The anxiety is telling me that running away is a really good idea, which is usually my go to, but not for that reason. So,
Mm. I think TUC like kind of catalogs like what would they do? It's like there's the familiar sort of like hmm well, I'm not okay with you getting hurt. I'm not okay with us, being mugged or, compromising our ideals or anything like that. But no one is hurting you.
uh, that that like that like takes a second to process. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I mean, I can take a few scrapes. It's not it's not going to hurt me in any way except physically, and that can be healed.
Well, granted. And I would also wager that we can probably withstand a lot,
Mm.
but it's just unacceptable and it's not going to happen. So,
Well, I mean, unless it does, or needs to.
mm,
I mean, yeah, okay, we haven't had to do anything like that, but if we had something worth doing, I wouldn't mind getting a few scrapes. It doesn't even have to be avoiding danger. I'm willing to get a few scrapes over doing something fun, learning something new. Um, I don't know.
I, with regards to myself, I'm I'm on board with that. And frankly, that's how I operate most of the time. It's, sometimes the most direct way to solve a problem is to punch it, and sometimes the most rewarding way to live your life is to, take some risks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different when I'm not alone.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's and now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably not entirely healthy and respectful of you for me to take that sort of stance on your safety, because that's you and your life.
Uh,
But
Maybe not. You have a point, but I think maybe the best way to do this would be to uh, advise me as my friend, but ultimately let me do whatever. Because you. I mean, I don't know how you would control me anyway, but you can't. So, like, by all means, yell at me when I do something stupid, but. Uh,
oh well, that was never in question.
Alright. I'm just saying, you can have your opinion. You just. I don't know.
Perhaps in terms of taking risks like this, when we're, perhaps it's just a good rule of thumb to to discuss it in, this sort of bullet time sort of way. Like, is this both something that we agree to?
Hmm. Yes, that's probably best to make sure that everyone's um, got an idea of what the dangers and the risks are before they decide whether to participate or not.
Mm. Like, when we're separate, like, it's, if you're doing something dangerous, I can just come along and take the hit for you.
Hmm.
I can't do that like this.
I don't think that's the way I was thinking about it.
Well, like, they do it just like, I'm going to try not to, but like, I'm pretty sure I can. If someone punches you, it's going to hurt you more than it is me.
Is it?
I think so.
Are you sure?
I should be. It's getting punched and punching people is my my bread and butter when it comes to, fighting dragons and all that. Whereas yours is,
Right.
being farther back or being turned into, a dinosaur or things like that.
All right. Okay. All right. In that sense, I think I understand. It is maybe sometimes uh, you look like a chicken, and those are not traditionally especially sturdy in my experience.
Oh no, we die at drop of the hat.
Okay, so I'm not. Okay, yeah, no, I thought so. Except you're you, not any just ordinary chicken, so it's kind of not exactly the same situation.
Thank you.
Okay, glad we got that sorted. There's just sort of the sense that like where uh TOC has this thought that like, you know, when they're with another person, uh they have to both be in an agreement, or else anything that happens is their fault or something. Like they have to protect them, and then they're their responsibility. The professor doesn't mirror that. Like he doesn't have that fully, but he thinks he should, or like he is starting to think he should. Like during that whole conversation, he was like, heck. And there was sort of like there were a few memories that got just sort of like tugged up and pushed back down, and
Mm.
would not, uh, should have, could have, would have.
I think TOC is just like it. I Again, it's hardwired into me to be productive.
Okay, right.
This like this is like the thing I was before. It was like, I don't like this. I want to do something better, and that thing was protecting.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand that.
I
I don't know if I could say I'm entirely the same way. I wasn't.
I'm excuse me. I'm getting flashes of you, like of your thoughts and your memories.
Mm, yeah, yeah, no, I mean, um, I wasn't made for a specific purpose. Uh, the time czars weren't even made for a specific purpose. So I don't know. I guess I find that sort of uh, core rooted sense of purpose and direction a bit alien.
Mm. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, at least for you.
Hmm. I mean, that's not to say I don't have purpose. I can find it, I can take it, but it's not like hardwired.
And just in case you think I don't know, unhappy or anything, like I did choose this, and I continue to choose it.
Okay.
It um I don't know if you can feel They sort of like prod the anxiety.
Mm.
Um, that's always there,
Mm-hmm.
but I choose to work through it
Mm-hmm.
because it's worth it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've established that that's not the only way to of being. That's not like the only ideal. So
Sure.
don't you can have you can take care of people in different ways than taking a hit or taking, their safety into your hands. And I think you're very good at that in the ways that you do.
I thank you. I don't think uh I was more just observing the differences. I wasn't I don't think I was being self-depreciating or uh a, making a judgment of one uh state over the other. More of a just just sort of a neutral comparison. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Fair enough. Excuse me. And TOC will stop talking because that didn't feel objective. But what do they know? They're not a time czar. They don't know how time czars think.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's they might have felt like something else or like there was like okay, there was something but maybe it wasn't that like
Mm,
brain hard.
brain hard. I think that they'll hmm. I think that they start to just be like, you know what? Not my circus, not my monkeys. And then they stop and they're just like, perhaps I'm too in my own head to understand exactly what's going on in yours. But
Hmm.
maybe this is something that we can talk about a different time later.
uh sure. There's just sort of a bit of confusion like he's not entirely sure what they're talking about anymore.
Yeah, I think TAC's like, all right, I've reached my emotional sell by date. We need to figure out how to unfuse.
uh how do you do that? Ah,
Well,
no, we should go back to Juniper's first.
we should
Um,
take advantage of flying while we have it.
yes, yes.
Do you want them to roll? Actually, wait. They're like, well, we could just montage it.
Oh, oh. I, I guess. I mean, I guess that is something we can do like this. Uh,
Hold on. It's I'm not great at it. It's sort of like, and then I think we cut to like a cutesy sort of uh yarn map of um
Toontown.
of Toontown, done up in sort of like the professor's scarf colors,
Mm-hmm.
and like um a cutesy little bird monstrosity like doot 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 doot
All
from
felt
like a
and
little
yarn.
tree. Yep, from the tree icon to the house icon, and then it cuts to Juniper's roof, just like what the fuck.
Ah, that was weird.
That was weird.
Just sort of like fluffing the feathers and shaking them out.
All right. So,
Is there anything I need to, like, I don't know, is there something we should get to have here because you are gonna, you know,
oh, I mean,
I don't know what that entails. Is there anything that we need to have on hand?
some blankets will be nice because it will hurt a
Okay.
bunch.
All right. We've got the one here that you got for me. That's very good. Um, we'll just sort of grab that and like put it put it down in the center of the roof. Um, just sort of like looks at the coat like, ah, yeah, sure. Picks that up and throws it um, onto the pile as well. Um, I mean, we could go into the house to get more, but I don't know how quiet we're gonna be able to be with these talons.
This will probably be fine. In theory, the dead god will show up and make sure things are fine. Um,
But they've been
but they've been
kind of AWOL.
yes.
Hmm.
So I think this is as good as we're getting.
All right, as long as you're sure.
They are not sure. However,
All right, so how do we do this then?
um, I mean, we have lots of differences and lots of I don't know. Pick an argument.
This is harder than I thought it would be.
I think that like they take a second to like, oh wait, they can sit down for this.
Mm-hmm.
And they do so. Just in case, someone gets, I don't know, blown off the roof.
Okay. Okay.
They're
Uh.
just like, what's something that we fundamentally disagree on?
Uh. I thought of something, but it's pretty angsty.
You know what? Go for it. It's been that kind of FPS.
Oh boy. Okay. So Professor just sort of goes over like very basic like character traits of himself and of TOC. And one of the things that is very big with TOC is uh, they're very family oriented and they have a very, very big family. And the professor, on the other hand, his psyche like completely recoils from that. His family is dead, thank you very much. And he does not have one. Absolutely not. So like I think that's just gonna kickstart it.
Yeah, I think that like I think that they just start laughing at him because like, oh no, that's adorable. Oh honey.
Yeah.
And like
He does not understand that because this is not something he feels good about.
they they're just like you if you're not happy about it, you need to bring it up with, I don't know, the plot or some such, because, oh dear, it's too late. You have a parking spot. I'm almost sure you have several parking spots.
He is in denial. That's probably enough to unfuse, right?
Probably. Um, yeah, and there's like a flash of this sort of mottled golden light, and, Professor, you are yourself. Uh, and sitting next to you is probably still sort of like chuckling through like enough pain that they sort of like have to double over
Mm-hmm.
is uh honestly it could be like a stunt double or like an older sibling.
Mm.
Like they look an awful lot like you. Um
Oh God, right. I forgot you did that. That's disorienting.
and they just like I think that like they kind of catch their breath from laughing as like the pain sets in and you can see uh their shirt uh go a little bit pink at their shoulder. Um
Mm.
and there is this like rush of time and eternity and process transition,
Mm.
but it kind of feels kind of like janky.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
um and TOC starts coughing and they don't stop, and I think you
Oh.
see a sort of plume of like this very dark black smoke escape around their hand.
Oh. Oh. I think
And
that's supposed
then
to happen.
there's sort of this sickening sort of crack, and there's a very uncomfortable looking chicken.
Yeah. Professor had been like absolutely hovering for most of that, and he is just sort of uh like hands braced to the floor, just like looking down at this chicken, like, oh God, are you okay?
Ow.
Uh, if I cast anything, will it help?
I don't know. Probably not. I think that they just sort of like ow, roll, roll until they like land in the blankets, and then they just sort of like burrow in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll
Just
sort of.
like,
Yeah, he's gonna help like arrange them and stuff. He's very close.
I think they're just like, okay, I love you very much, but I am done with
Mm-hmm.
tonight. It is 3. You are welcome to stay as long as you like. You can also leave. I don't control your life.
I
I'm 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 gonna be here.
yeah. Uh, I think I'm gonna make sure you're okay first. And then I'll make my way back.
They sort of pat his hand.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean he's gonna just kind of like sit with TOC, like very attentive. Uh,
Right.
if they need anything, and like every move, they're like he's like tracking it, which might be a little disconcerting for a prey animal, but um, yeah.
Honestly, they trust him enough. They're just like no, like a member of flock is nearby. That means safety.
Aw.
So yeah, I think um he sees them go through a couple nightmares, but
Mm.
um honestly, any sign from him that he's there
Mm-hmm.
honestly helps a lot.
Hmm. Nice. Yeah. But probably after some length of time, maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, um, if TOC's sort of settled, whether awake or asleep, um,
Yeah.
he'll just make sure that they're, you know, comfortable in the blanket, um, on a nice spot where they're not going to get like too cold or anything.
Hmm.
Um, uh,
I do have a question.
yeah,
The professor donated his coat to the cause.
I was just going to say he's going to have to extricate his coat because he needs that in Yeddo. He needs to have that.
Yup.
um,
I like to think that like that takes some time.
yeah,
Like
probably.
like trying to get a sweater out from underneath a cat.
Yes, yes. Oh man.
Um but yeah, they're out. They usually go to bed at sundown. So like this was they're out. Um and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. He'll give them a pat and then sort of shake out his coat, uh, put it on, grab his scarf and hat, and very quietly, as quiet as he can, make it through the go back through the house and leave through the front door, and then go walking towards probably a bus stop to the teleportation circle.
Mhm.
So yeah, walking down the street.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think you're almost at the bus stop when you hear sort of like this odd little clatter at your feet, and you look down and there's a skeletal cat sort of rubbing against your ankle.
He sort of like startles for a second because he wasn't expecting that, but uh, but then sort of like leans down to offer his hand.
Mm. Yeah, it sort of like considers the hand and rubs against it. And I think before you can react, like it sort of jumps up your arm to your shoulder
Mm-hmm.
and just sort of settles there.
Yeah, he just is still for a second, uh, and then like not too fast to throw it off balance. He stands back up, and he's just sort of bemused, and he says like, "All right, but I am going to get on the bus, and I don't think I should take you back to Yeddo with me." Um,
It makes sort of a rattly sort of purr somehow. And I think it's around that time that you hear off the distance, Pumpkin! Pumpkin, come on! It's late! Pumpkin!
oh, are you looking for a cat?
Oh! And around the corner comes a a tall rubber hose girl in sort of a nice coat. She's got brown sort of not or black sort of uh fluffy hair that's cut around her ears, and uh, her very familiar face lights up when she sees that cat, and she goes, "Yes! Oh my gosh! Um, hi, sorry, that's my cat. Could I have him back, please?"
I think I'm gonna have to roll deception. Because I think it's fair to say that, especially with TOC's memories, that's recognizable. Thankfully, your deception is quite high, so that is a 16. Um, his
Yep.
his 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 grin sort of like flickers a bit, like falters before like Uh, he's he's just sort of like, oh yes, yes, friendly little thing.
Yeah, it's I raised him well, I didn't raise him, but I raised him from the dead. Um
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
yeah, it's his name's Pumpkin. Pumpkin, come here. You're such a bad cat. She like extricates this cat from your coat and like holds him like a baby.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Um and she goes, "Hi, sorry. How do you do? My name's Pete. Thank you for catching my cat."
Hello, good to meet you. Yes, no problem, of course.
Yes, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. He was in a carrier and then he ate his way out of the carrier. And I didn't
Oh.
notice until we were almost on the bus, and then um we forgot the bus, where we didn't get on the bus because we forgot Pumpkin. And sorry,
Mm,
I'm a little bit frazzled. Where'd
no,
my mom go?
that's okay. I don't know. And he just sort of like straightens up and looks around. And he's a little disconcerted, but it's not showing, like, unless you have a really high insight. Um,
Yeah. Actually, let me roll for her.
mhm. Like, I know any of the detectives from AI could absolutely spot this in a heartbeat, but for the average person, he's hiding uh, this uncomfortableness pretty well.
All right. Okay, that's pretty good insight.
What was it?
I haven't rolled it yet. I was just looking up the modifier.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Because I forgot to put it in the thing. I
You said
rolled
a
a,
16?
yeah, 16 deception,
Okay.
which is kind of low for him.
Ooh.
Oh heck, you just beat it. Okay, something. This he seems uncomfortable for some reason. It could just be because, like, strange cat, strange person. He's not met. It's very late. Why are you here? Like, it could just be awkwardness. It's unclear, but he does seem to be sort of pretending that he's not uncomfortable, but he definitely is, and it's unclear why.
Yeah. I think she'll kind of falter and like
It could be the cat. Who knows?
could have been cat. Like, sorry.
Hmm?
I don't think either of us needed to meant to accost you like this.
No, it's
I'll
quite all right.
uh I'll let you get back to your evening. Um
Mm-hmm.
and I think like she starts sort of like yeah, anyways, and awkwardly like starts trotting back in the direction of the bus stop.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I mean that's where he was going.
It's that awkward thing where you say goodbye and then you're walking in the same direction.
Yep, he just sort of like sighs and then like puts his hands in his pockets and walks at a sedate pace also towards the bus stop. Like he's gonna try to look in the street, like obviously he's looking for the bus. He is not
Mm-hmm.
following you, he is here for the bus stop. Please God, don't misunderstand. Though your insight's high enough that you probably can get that much.
Yeah, like she doesn't feel like threatened. She feels like, oh god, I'm making someone very uncomfortable. I think like very quickly at the bus stop, like she sits on a bench with the cat in her lap, being held very tightly, and pulls out actually it looks like a an anatomy textbook, and just sort of buries her nose in it.
Yeah, he'll stand a bit away,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna wait there awkwardly.
And hey, Katie.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Um, yeah, here, let me roll a thing. 27. Perfect. Um, Professor, before you really realize it, there's a much taller woman than the familiar face that you saw before, placing a gentle hand on Pete's shoulder
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of staring outward. You're not really sure when she arrived.
Mm-hmm. He just sort of
Yeah.
like glances over and up, and then away. Like, okay, this is okay. New person. This must be Pete Moss's mother. He is. This makes no sense. He is going to pretend it's not happening. He needs to go back to Yeddo. He can't do this right now.
Um, Oatmeal, would you like me to make it worse?
Yes.
Um, you're just fresh from seeing a lot of TOC's memories, and I think that a woman that they knew to be Pete Moss's mom, was in the background of quite a few of them.
Mm-hmm. He does
She,
remember that TOC had said that they were kind of scared by, intimidated by her or something.
more,
Or was that Seeker's mom?
that was Seeker's mom.
Oh, okay. My mistake then.
Yeah, this person looks nothing like either woman.
Also, she's a real kind.
Mm. And
Yeah.
and this girl looks up and is just like, "Hi, mom."
She looks down and smiles softly.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll. With a 17 plus 7, could she tell that like the professor's putting her on edge?
Yes, especially now that, especially because like once he makes that sort of like note internally, like he glances a second time and is like, oh, that's not even the right person. um, he's not still looking, like he's looking out for the bus now, but yeah, he is pretty definitely on edge.
I think you hear like, "Mom, mom, mom." No, he found pumpkin. He's fine.
What does a 22 insight get over this person? Also, the 27 earlier was for deception.
Okay. 22 insight. That's a fair bit higher than Pete's. And a fair bit higher than his 16 deception. So, let's see, how much can you tell? He is uncomfortable. He doesn't want to be here. But, you know, bus stop. Uh, he's unnerved by something, like not just uncomfortable, like awkwardness, but like something is like uh like the sort of thing that uh like, you know, makes your hairs raise, like just like just something not right. He seems to be like that sort of unnerved. And with uh it's with both her and Pete Moss. Cat has nothing to do with it, but it's definitely them. And that's, I think, what you're able to tell.
This very tall woman. She's wearing this hat that has wonderful, beautiful flowers on it, this overly fancy dress, but it's not gaudy. Just kind of looks over to you and holds out a hand saying, thank you so much for helping my daughter find her cat.
Oh god.
She has an overly pleasant smile.
I think the girl like swats her with the textbook and goes, he's sorry, we're pretty villain coded in this family. I swear that wasn't a threat.
Yeah.
She actually does mean thank you.
This woman rolls her eye.
Mom.
Rolls her eyes like, oh, darling, you know that I'm sure he doesn't care.
Yeah, he just, he had, like, hesitated a moment when the hand was extended, but, he does, especially after, Pete Moss tries to, stop this person, go for the handshake with, a friendly smile, and, he just sort of, like, shakes his head a bit, he's like, no, that's quite alright. It was no problem. The cat just found me, and it was just happenstance.
Pumpkin has a funny way of finding interesting people.
Ah.
I think Pumpkin like claws their way to the top of Pete's head, and she's just like, I have no control in this situation.
I have to roll now because handshake.
It was a very nice handshake.
Yep. Okay, let's see. Alright, one of these is, let's see, this is gonna be if it's working, and this one is if it's how much she's perceiving. Okay. Okay, it is definitely working. And his perception is 13.
Interesting. Yeah, I can roll deception again, but she had a 27 earlier.
Well, you can't really you can't really deception a true sight?
Oh, true sight. Okay,
Yeah,
true sight
no, this
for
is
13.
this is specifically for true sight.
So what kind of things does that do again?
A shapeshifter's true form. He can see anything in the ethereal plane. So if someone's got like a ghost or a quarry attached to them, if there's any sort of magical disguise, he can see through it. Practical disguises, no. No makeup and costume. Magical disguises. See if there's anything I'm missing. See in normal and magical darkness. See invisible creatures and objects. Detect visual illusions. And automatically succeed on saving throws against them. Perceive the original form of a shape changer or a creature that is transformed by magic. Furthermore, the monster can see... person. Can see into the ethereal plane within the same range. So not very far, but, like, around the person he's looking at, he can do it. It's about how I usually do it, so... Yes?
Yeah, strangely enough, this woman doesn't look like what she should. You can tell that she has a true polymorph on her. And what she looks like before is very similar looking to Lore.
Okay. Oh boy.
Freckles, still very tall, similar hair, similar coloration, same color eyes.
God.
Perhaps
May I roll perception again? Or no, deception. Because, God, that just makes him more... this is worse. He's like,
Yep.
fuck.
That hat also makes you think of the hat he had when he came to Einquell.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
just lots of flowers on it.
Boy. Yeah, so let me, if you'll allow it, do another
yes.
deception. Okay. Just gonna try
I will say, the actually is the true sight just touch?
Technically,
Because I'm wondering if you would see if it would apply
no.
to her.
Technically, no. I usually proc it, on touch, but, technically it is a passive thing that's on all the time, to roughly melee range around him. It's just hard to sort of focus on, but he got a 19 for focusing on it, so I think even with an 8, no, 8, 9, 13, even with a 13 perception, actually 13 is pretty decent, I would think, that if someone's within melee range, he can see, roughly what he would be able to see in true sight. Like, there are some things that might escape his notice, but yeah. The true sight is working.
This person, actually, they look a little bit younger than Pete was when you met them, but not by much. But they're exactly what they look like, and it's I think the only thing that sticks out to you is, and the reason it took so long is because it's an absence of something. They don't have the sort of like sickly time sense that Pete Moss and the ticked off chicken both have, despite the fact that you're pretty sure this person is older than Pete was when the calamity happened.
Yeah.
And they're just like,
yeah. His new deception is a 23. So he is definitely not, like, actually, I think how this is going to come across is that he is, like, after, shake hands and that exchange, he's more put at ease, with these people. Your insight was a 22? Yeah, no, it beats that. So, he's still, maybe a little bit awkward, but, like, it's more regular awkwardness, and he's just sort of like, like, okay, like, he's chill now. He's not. But yeah, that's what's up. And he just sort of, shake hands and just sort of like, just sort of, touches the brim of his hat. Good to meet you.
She kind of regards you for a moment. Pete, darling.
Yeah?
I think I forgot something at that store. Would you mind walking back with me? Don't worry, I can get us home a different way.
Okay. Thank you again. It was really nice to get to meet you, and thank you again for fishing my cat out of the streets.
Oh, no problem, dear. Of course.
She has to kind of grab the cat to keep it from leaping back to your shoulders, and just like, yeah, I'll see you around. Walks.
Sure.
They walk away, and this woman has her arm draped across Pete's.
Yep. And then the bus comes.
And then the bus comes.
Yeah. He's gonna basically, like, so, watch them out of the corner of his eye, and then, sort of covertly watch them from the bus for as long as they're visible, and then just sort of like they're out of sight, he's out of sight, you know, the bus is gone, and he just sort of like sinks down in his seat with a sigh, and he's just like, oh god, stars, what am I gonna do?
Actually, they, KT, you would say that they were in sort of a not like a hurry, but like they got out of there pretty quick, right?
Yeah, it was definitely after this person regarded the professor, seemed to assess something, and then decided to leave.
I think Professor,
Well, he didn't
before
decide to leave. Oh, you decided to leave. Sorry.
Mm.
Professor, I think they before you got on the bus, you noticed that she left her textbook on the bench. Do you pick it up?
I'm thinking about it. Okay, I'm gonna put that down to a roll. Okay. Wisdom check. High is he leaves it. Because he thinks it would be a bad idea to take it.
Boy, do I want him to fail.
He got an 11, so he thinks about it and hesitates, and like he's sort of like tapping his hand against his side because like heck, like I shouldn't, but what if I did? Like this makes no sense. Many thoughts, but ultimately decides no, and gets on the bus and doesn't take it.
I think if you like stare at it for a long enough time, you will see the same university that you that you knew that Pete Moss was affiliated with, stamped on the back.
Yeah, no, he would have been looking at it long enough. Oof. Well, yeah, no, that's... yeah.
Yep. Anyways, thanks y'all for listening, folks.
Yes! Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for playing with me. Author, this was awesome.
This was so much fun.
This was great. Oh, gosh.
Thank you, KT, for the cameo.
Eee.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye, folks.
Bye.